Hello, it is Tease. It is Tease. I hope all are well, hope all are safe. And jumping right in as always, um, I was watching a short. There was a short today. There was a lady, I thought I had the thumbnail, but I don't think I saved it. But a lady was pretty much saying, like, oh, when it comes to Black America, we glorify the hood as if that's a good thing, and then it's something where it's like we'll uplift the terrible things as if that's a good thing, or as if it's normal that we like it. She's like, no, that is not true. She said we don't like that. It's just we just kind of glamorized the filth, if you will. And then another gentleman said, he said, just like when, for instance, when the men and women and the children walk around as if they're tough. He said, no, they're not tough. They're traumatized. I'm thinking like that makes sense. Because anytime I'm walking around with my teeth out, like, or looking like I'm ready to bite, that is from trauma. Obviously something's going on if I'm biting and not smiling. You see what I'm saying? Clearly I'm under attack or I feel attacked, which is PTSD. And speaking of that too, so basically with the PTSD, so something happened and you're going to get flashbacks or you're going to keep your head down. So it'll be one of those things where you're so traumatized by it, okay, I'm going to forget about it. Like I said, remember I said we tend to forget the elephant in the room, or we tend to forget where we are, what time it is. I believe a lot of that has to do with trauma. And another thing with the trauma, this also goes into behaviors. Due to my trauma, I'm going to pretend or ignore the elephant in the room, and while you're hurting or while you're being traumatized or harmed, my PTSD and my Stockholm syndrome is going to tell you that racism doesn't exist, or you're your own worst enemy. Just like what there was a Negro podcast, Anton Daniels to be exact. He said the black man's worst enemy is the black woman, and I'm like, wow, really? So he completely absolved Massa. Massa is not the reason why y'all are in bed with each other. Massa ain't the reason why you getting hung from a tree. It had to be that dirty old black woman. You see what I'm saying? So my thing is, for him to have the gumption to say that, like, clearly, PTSD. No, I think with him, that's Stockholm. He's suffering from Stockholm. Stockholm is this. Let's say, so you kidnap me and beat me or whatever the case may be, and I learned to love it, so to speak. That's the short and sweet of Stockholm. I've been abused and kidnapped, and I've learned to love it after a while. To the point where, hell, it was me. I'm the problem. So Anton Dan said, I'm the problem. He's taking all the fall. Master can do no wrong. You see what I'm saying? And then even with the issues, any issues that go on, let's say, for instance, somebody robs a bank. Two blind men rob a bank. Our Stockholm is going to say, oh, well, it had to be the black woman or it had to be the black man. You see what I'm saying? It can be something that has nothing to do with us, but somehow we gotta throw each other under the bus. You see what I'm saying? Because I can't address the elephant in the room. My Stockholm won't allow it. So it had to be that dirty old black man or that dirty old black woman, or those pesky black children of theirs. You see what I'm saying? Notice how we only got smoke for each other, no smoke for the elephant in the room, and no smoke for Massa. Because they don't want those problems. PTSD in Stockholm, that's not something you want to relive. The Stockholm completely absolves it to where now you're the problem. Massa could do no wrong. And the PTSD is you'll feed into it. Like, basically, I'm going to feed into it by reenacting those acts. Hello, Isaac. Welcome in. Welcome back, Isaac. Yes, I remember you. Welcome in. Hello. Welcome in, babe. Yeah, so pretty much if you deflect from the issue, that's pretty much Stockholm. Or it could be PTSD. Like I say, we are suffering from mental health problems. But when the guy said that with the traumatized, I'm like, oh, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. Because I'm like, that is true. Because when we are traumatized, we do tend to, like, okay, I don't want to relive that. I don't want that smoke. Or I seen what you did to Jeremy. I don't want that. That's why they keep their head down. The Ferguson is a prime example. When I seen that Ferguson with all of those blacks in the middle of the street, and there was only like maybe one or two cops, and then you got this dead black body sitting there, and then they all just stood back. They knew to stay in line because that Stockholm and that PTSD told them, you know what would happen if you run up on these police officers. And I'm not saying that somebody else wouldn't have got shot, but it's hundreds of you all in the streets angry, but you ain't gonna do nothing. because that Stockholm and PTSD will not permit. That's what I'm saying. We are a traumatized, mentally ill people who's in dire need of some serious help. Because again, if I can ignore that elephant in the room and blame myself or blame you and not focus on that problem, because like I said, there's only a handful of people like that, like me, that actually will say something when something's not right. I will call out the elephant in the room, and I will actually hold each party accountable. There's never no, oh, I can do no wrong or you can do no wrong. No. This is what happened in these situations. That's why I deemed certain situations, when you get caught up in a pickle, there's a thin line between murder and suicide. You see what I'm saying? And even if it is, oh, suicide because somebody else pulled the trigger or somebody else did it, what were you doing and where? Because where you come up short, that makes a huge difference in the case. Dead at home, okay, you're automatically the victim. Dead in bed with your oppressor, that's an open and closed case. Go actually call that a code case. I've actually learned that too. I know most of the time they'll try to be funny. You know, let's say for instance, if it's something where they find someone. Oh, adios, Isaac. Have a good one. You know, if you have literally like a case where, okay, someone gets murdered with their hands behind, let's say for instance, your hands are behind your back, you're hung and shot in the head, and then they deem it as suicide. Normally in the past, you'll think, how the hell is that suicide? My hands are behind my hands. But I'm thinking like, I would probably deem that suicide too, because where were you to be, you know what I'm saying? For all of this to happen, where were you? And if you put yourself in the belly of danger, then I could say, yeah, if I jump off a cliff, nobody did it. Like whether they pushed me or not, it's like, okay, I kind of intended on, taking that slippery slope, and I didn't think it'll break my neck. But guess what? It broke more than my neck. So it's one of those things where I think sometimes we think we can play with fire because, oh, it couldn't happen to me. I'm a millionaire. It couldn't happen to me. I'm a this and that, or I'm a woman. And then we got to learn the hard way, and then we want to call Black Lives Matter. That's why I say, so we really need to focus on our mental health, so then therefore we can understand the situations. That's why I'm more convinced. I'm like, okay, wow, that is PTSD. Once you do the science behind, the psyche. Oh, speaking of psyche too, certain trigger words. If it's something where, okay, old, like calling a woman old, you know that's a trigger word. Especially like, oh, old black woman, okay, nobody wants you and this and that. That's playing on the trauma. You know that's traumatizing and antagonizing, and it's triggering. So that's why people say and do certain things. Or it plays with our psyche. If you see a pink man with a black woman or a black man with a pink woman, you see what I'm saying? And a lot of people can say, oh, I don't care about that. Or I don't care if two men are laying up together. I don't mind. And I'm thinking like, that's mental illness. You don't mind because obviously you got something going on in your head, or you're ignoring that elephant in the room. Like say again, we can say, oh, we don't care, or that's you can't help who you love. Like, okay, you're making excuses because when it comes to LGBT, there's a thin line with laying up with children is not far from it. You see what I'm saying? If I'm gonna, well, I identify as this and that. If I identified as the owner of a bank and go in there and demand everyone to drain their bank accounts, I'll be deemed insane and probably get arrested. But no one would, if I just come out of nowhere, just wake up tomorrow and say, hey, I'm a man, and you are supposed to go along with that. That's what I'm saying. So y'all need to, this delusion, mental illness, sickness, sorcery that we got going on, that's the elephant in the room. I don't know to call that, I guess you could call that trauma. I guess trauma would tell you that you're a man when you're a woman, or you're a woman. Trauma would do that. So that's a lot of excuses too. Well, I'm gay because something happened when I was 2, 3, 4. I'm gay because, whatever the case may be, trauma. And I'm not saying it takes strictly trauma just to become, homosexual, but the trauma is there, one way, shape, or form. It's just simply living in America is traumatizing. So that's why I just rather be alert and understand my surroundings. So then therefore, once I really understand what's going on, then I can say, you know what? Maybe I do have Stockholm syndrome, or maybe that is PTSD. Maybe that is, and then therefore you can learn, okay, well, how can I heal from this, or how can I at least, get some kind of therapy or some type of relief, if you will. If there's something that keep playing over, oh my gosh, I just can't get that image of that dead kid out of my head. You see what I'm saying? That you had to stumble upon because something happened in this sick, nasty country. You see what I'm saying? that takes therapy to train your brain to not keep throwing that in it. You know, you're having dreams but can't think, can't eat. That's trauma. And therapy is needed. But yeah, using like certain trigger words or playing with the psyche. I would say if you're playing with people's disabilities, that's a very dangerous game too. Exploitation, that's another thing people do too. They exploit. You exploit off of pain, the pain of those who have to suffer, bleed, and die, and etc. So you exploit them out of their pain, exploit them out of their money and their resources. You exploit them of what's rightfully theirs in order for you to have filthy lucre. And I would say, for you, anybody who's guilty of doing that, as far as exploiting people's pain and taking advantage of their handicap, whatever the case may be, you may want to turn from your wicked ways, because all money isn't good money, and it's just something about reaping what you sow. You know, when you're in error. So I would say if you're literally playing with fire as far as exploiting people's pains or taking advantage of people's handicap or preying on people, basically, if you're a predator or if you just got something wrong with you, I don't know what's wrong with y'all. There's some very sick people out here, and literally that's the only, there's only rules, laws, regulations, and it's only up and down, good and bad, because people are involved. Out of this whole world, this whole universe, with everything's on it, the sticks and stones in this world, the world is only made or broken by the people. Literally. The people are the problem. The people is the reason why hell exists. The people are the reason why you gotta lock your doors at night. It's only the people. You don't even have to worry about the grizzly. If I see 1,000 grizzly bears, I'll probably feel safe. I'm like, ooh, that's nature. If I see 1,000 people out, I'll probably be scared to death. You see what I'm saying? Because it's like you just don't know. The people. It is the people. I don't know what these people are into, but it's like these days people are becoming mutants, which is probably why I suggested to go watch Sinners, because it's like, yeah, that's probably how most of y'all will end up, bitten by a damn vampire. Ain't gonna be no good to nobody. So I would say get some help and just turn from your wicked ways. That's another thing too. You either participate in the sorcery or you ignore it, which is both. That's both the cardinal sin. Because keeping the head down or being complicit, that's choosing a side. Not doing any damn thing, that's choosing a side. Complicit. Okay, anyway. Be well and be safe.